down in the den. So go tell a friend. The best podcast on earth's about to begin. We got jokes and news and movie reviews. After Dark NC-17 with the crew. Interviews with the best artists around. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Welcome back to Down in the Den, the #1 podcast for creatives all over the land, from musicians, authors, directors. If you're creative, this is a spot for you. I'm your host, Mars, aka Marlon Beardo, the Bearded Weirdo, the Stellarosa Casanova, the curator of culture, and I'm here with a phenomenal artist, phenomenal creator, phenomenal writer. I want those who are watching at home and those who are listening to give a warm Down in the Den welcome for Miss Shawniece Hall. Shawniece, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Den. How are you doing this afternoon?
I am great. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Well, you're already bringing the light, you're bringing the energy. So I think this is going to be a very, very fun interview. I've been doing this for a while, and I'm good at reading the energy. That's my secret power. So I think we're going to have a blast. We begin every episode with the same question. I grew up loving comic books, and all of my favorite characters always had these unique origin stories. And as I started interviewing and meeting more creatives, I realized that creatives are real life superheroes because we create universes with our words, our music, whatever it may be. So I ask you, what's your origin story? How did you get in writing, and when did it become more than a release and actually become your purpose?
So my journey with writing began when I was a young child. I was homeless a lot, quite often, and books allow escape. When I'm reading a book, I don't feel like I'm here anymore. I'm in the book. As I always tell everyone, when I read, it's like there's a movie playing in my mind. So every time I'm reading, I'm not just reading a book, there is an actual movie going on in my head. So it provided me a chance to escape my reality for as long as I had that book open. And seeing how other authors can literally make me do that, like their writing can transform me into another world. I wanted to be able to do that too. To me, I thought that was so amazing that someone's mind, because when you write a book, that's coming from your mind. Someone's mind can take you somewhere else. And I wanted to be able to do the same thing with other people too. I wanted to be able to write in a way that when people read my writing, they're sucked in and they don't feel like they're in their own reality no more. They feel like they're in this book living it.
Absolutely. I always say books are the ultimate passport, because not only could it take you to another country, it could take you really to another world, another time, another universe, another whatever you can fathom. Writing and books can do that. And so it's very important. I recall being in a class for gifted readers when I was like in 3rd grade, and we were all reading at the college level. And it was always weird to me, the people that didn't like to read. Of course, I was born before everybody had a smartphone, but it is certainly an ultimate passport. Now, your mother, you've worked in the healthcare industry, you're an author. How have those lived experience shaped your writing? Because it has to come from somewhere. Of course, imagination is key. But our experiences also shape who we are in our art, whether we know it or not. How have those experiences shaped your writing?
So the one thing I always tell everybody is that life is inspiration for writing. Because when you go through certain situations, right, and then you write about those situations, you can literally draw raw emotion because you can think back to how you felt, how you reacted, how the people around you felt, how they reacted, and you can use that when you're writing different scenes, because there's someone else who went through that situation and might have experienced the same emotion or had the same outcomes, made the same choices. Now they're relating to you on a personal level in that writing. So I feel like going through certain situations, having things happen to you makes great for writing because you can be so authentic the way you show up in your writing when you're writing about it. Whether you're writing a fictional book or not, you can literally draw from that rawness, that realness to create that whole fictional world that you're trying to create.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your most recent project, Flames. So I picked up a little bit. I wasn't able to finish the whole book, but I did pick up a little bit. And already I was very impressed. It seemed like a very emotionally charged book, which that's what I look for something that I want to read. So tell us, for those at home, give us your elevator pitch. Why they should pick up Flames and read it, and a little bit of insight on how it came about.
So Flames came about because a lot of us grow up sometimes without having one parent. Most of the time it's the father, if we're going to be honest. Some of us grew up without a father, some of us grew up without a mother, some of us grew up without both, and we grew up with granny. And for some people, when you grow up missing that kind of love, you could kind of feel like it can reflect in your adult relationships. So for example, a woman who didn't have a father figure, right, that will show up in how she chooses men at times, and what she'll take from a man and what she don't, and how she perceives love from a man. And just like a man, if he didn't have his mom or he didn't have a good woman figure, that will affect how he loves a woman, how he views a woman, how he treats her. So Aaliyah's story just resonated because I'm like, when we're missing that element as we grow, it can reflect in our relationship, sometimes in a good way and in a bad way. And with Aaliyah, we see how in the beginning of her journey, it reflected in a bad way because she just had this bad taste about love ever since she was a kid. So for her, it was like, no, that's not real for me. That's not realistic. It's not even a thing I can have. But then she meets Liam, who grew up in a different kind of household where he had his mom and his dad. He watched them love each other, grow. He watched what a family unit looked like. So what Aaliyah lacked, he had. And what he was afraid of, what Aaliyah is afraid of, he's not afraid of. So we see how those two worlds collide, and we see how, how you watch any love story, you see how it starts to unfold. You see how he's doing things to get her to let her walls down. But then life does what it always does when you start to be like, okay, I could probably sit in this. This might be working. Life puts you to the test. So now something from Liam's past is coming forward, and now they need to decide whether they can escape the lies, the deceit, the betrayal that's coming their way, or will it all go up in flames?
Well put. Well put. I consider myself a modern anthropologist. I look at people, I look at behaviors, and be it social media, be it online, and it seems to me that there's a hard line between what's perceived on social media and what may be real life. And you mentioned the main character, Aaliyah. She struggles with believing love may not really be meant for her. What do you think makes that fear so relatable today? Because the more I've looked, it seems like it's a very men versus women society right now. It seems like it's a very anti-love society, which actually kind of breaks my heart. I'm an old school romantic, so it kind of breaks my heart that that's the modern state. What do you think about that fear that the main character Aaliyah has that makes it so relatable today?
So there's a few things. I'm gonna start off with one, the way she grew up, because not having that affected her. And then I'm gonna get real world, like with what we're experiencing now. I feel like some of us are afraid because sometimes when you're hurt, you carry that into something else, and you're afraid to give someone else a chance based off what someone else has already done. So you don't even let them have a clean slate to show you who they are. Another thing is we live in a world where everybody makes you feel like being a player is the thing to be, when having someone to really go through life with is the thing to be. And this is why we see so many people going through what they're going through, because you want to be a player, but you don't want everything that comes with being a player. And that means you don't have a consistent partner. You don't really got no one to turn to when the rocks is against the wall. You don't got no one who really knows you because you ain't never settled long enough with someone to get to know you. So, and then the men versus women kind of thing, I don't know what boat we got on with that, but like I keep telling people, men need women and women need men. We each bring something different to the table, and that's purposely done because when we come together, we make that table whole. So, when you're saying you don't need a man and I don't need a woman, yeah, you do. We both need each other. It was Adam and Eve, not Adam by himself or Eve, but we need a companion. We need that person. And I'm not saying need like oxygen because, oxygen you need. But my point is, like, we want that type of connection. We want that. And as humans, we're not meant to be alone. We don't like being alone. Being alone creates many negative things for us.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. What does, and I'm so glad that you touched on it, because it really has become I'm just sitting back and I'm like, when did this become the norm that the opposite sex puts, how can I describe it? It seems like the roles that we perform in a union has just been degraded to, oh well, I can do that myself. If why do I need him? I can do that myself. And the same thing with guys, like, oh shit, why do I need to provide? I could blah 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 blah, and it's just become this raging debate. What does healthy love look like to you now? With your experiences growing up, your own life, and now being able to put this into book form. What does healthy love? Because obviously conflict sells. Conflict is what makes the book.
But
But
love sells too, though.
love does too, and especially healthy love. What does that look like
Mm.
to you in 2026?
So, for general purposes, y'all, this is just my opinion before y'all eat me up. But love to me is unconditional. It means that I can fall apart in front of this person and he still loves me. I can show him the ugly sides of me and I don't always have to show up perfect and pretty and ready. He knows that. You know what I'm saying? He has seen me in all seasons. Love is not always going to be pretty. Sometimes we go, listen, sometimes I'm going to wake up and be like, don't even look at me today. Don't
Yeah.
even talk to me today, but I'll see you later on for dinner. You know what I'm saying? It's not always this rom-com that we see on TV. It is war. You know how they be like, love is a battlefield? It is real. Love is really a battlefield. You have to fight to want to be with this person all the time. You got to fight for your relationship. You got to fight for your sanity in the relationship because sometimes they're going to drive you crazy. That's what people do. We drive each other crazy sometimes. We get angry with each other sometimes. Heck, sometimes I drive myself crazy and I'm just me. So, it's just being willing to go that extra mile for that person, just to let them know, like, this is what I want. This is what I'm fighting for. And I know it's not always going to be pretty. I know it's not always going to be what we see on TV, but this is real. This is us. And I want to do this with you.
That Look, no, anybody that gives you flack, I got your back because you kept it as real and as authentic as it could possibly be. I think that is the exact answer. I have a perfect example. My parents have been married for 55 years, and
Ooh.
I've seen it where they don't even like each other. So to let somebody else, say something or do something or mess with them, and they're the first person that has their back. And I think that's so cool to just look at in real time and in real life, and seeing that for at least 40 of their 55 years. They're like, wow, no matter what, they still have each other's back, and that's awesome. Being that we are the home for the independent artists, we always like to highlight those who have accomplished something incredible. I tell people, some people say, oh, my sales aren't what they want to be, or this where I want to be. The fact that you got it done, you completed it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's out to consume. That's more than 99% of people that want to be authors, people that want to be singers, people that want to be musicians, whatever, actually getting the product out there to the people. What has been the hardest part of being an independent author, be it, the writing, the marketing, the visibility, and a two-part question, what has been the most rewarding part in this journey for you?
So I would say that the hardest part is something you just touched on, comparing yourself to other people, because that's what we're doing when we say, oh, I didn't sell enough books, I didn't do this. But what made you think that you didn't sell enough books? Because you saw somebody else and their book sales was different than yours. So for me, I had to learn, stop comparing. Don't compare, because what is meant for you at certain stages is meant for you. Like, okay, I wrote this first book, right? Maybe it didn't sell the way I wanted to, but maybe it sold exactly as it was planned to, because maybe that did exactly what it was supposed to do. And maybe my next book will do something different. I don't know. But the point is, you can't be so hung up on that stuff, because your path is your path. You're going to get to where you're going when you're supposed to. And if you're supposed to be someone like Sister Soldier or J.K. Rowling or whatever, you will be. And if you're not, that's fine too. But at least when you said you wanted to be an author, you wrote it, you got it out there, and you did it. That is success. For me, like I always tell people, success is how many times you create a goal and you execute that goal and you do it. That is success. It's not always the big money, the cars and the clothes and being like Beyonce and everybody else. No, sometimes success is how well you succeeded at the things you said you was going to do, that you did what you said you was going to do. And
100.
then the best thing about all this is being able to walk around and say, I'm an author. and that my kids saw that that was my dream and I did it.
That's so dope. That is super dope. That's super dope. And I could talk about the book and talk about the journey all day. But I'm not going to disrespect your time because it is the most that we have. But we do have a segment specifically for this interview. It's a quick question segment. And this one is called the 5 heartbeats. So it's 5 specific questions all about love. And if you're ready to rock and roll, I'm ready to give you the questions.
Okay, let's go.
Breathe, relax, relate, release. All right, here we go. Is heartbreak necessary for growth?
Sometimes, because you learn, and it will help you prepare yourself for what you do want the next time and what you don't want, what you will put up with and what you won't.
Awesome, awesome. This one, I think, especially for people of color, is key. Can love alone heal trauma? Because I feel like just being a person of color in America comes from a certain level of just trauma that's already it's
Generational.
literally in the mitochondria of our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you believe love alone can heal, or do we actually need to make sure that we start doing the therapy, start doing the work, start listening to other people, or is love alone something that can heal trauma?
I feel like it's not love alone for the simple fact we have to talk. Like you
Yes,
have to talk about the things that are inside of you for you to really get over it. Like, yes, you're having this internal dialogue, but sometimes the it coming from your voice, coming from your vocal cords, hearing it out loud, that does something different. And sometimes hearing it out loud or being able to voice it to someone else, that can create a change that just keeping it inside or just love alone won't really heal. So yes, you need love, but you need other things. You need communication, you need proper coping mechanism tools. Like you need all that to heal what's going on. So it's definitely more than love.
agreed, agreed. Do you believe some people are meant to ignite us but not stay? I've always heard the term, people can be in your life for a season, and that season could be your whole life, or it could be 9 weeks. Do you believe some people are just meant to ignite us but not necessarily stay with us?
I do believe that because some people in your life are seasons for a reason. And then that be that. They serve their purpose and y'all might go on about your business.
Agreed, agreed. We're right here. We're right here. Uh, what what is more powerful, closure or self-acceptance? Especially with my lady counterparts, I hear a lot of closure. You don't really hear that as much from the fellas. But what do you think is more powerful, closure or self-acceptance?
I'm going to say dual. They're both important
It's fair.
because self-acceptance is important, but sometimes closure on certain situations is important too, because when you're looking for closure, sometimes it might not be about you. You might need to hear something from that other person, you know? So sometimes closure isn't just a one person kind of thing. You might really need to have that last conversation with someone to really get some clarity, to really get some closure for you. And then self-acceptance, I feel like they're both important because sometimes getting through certain situations has to do with self, even moments of closure and everything else. So I feel like they're both equally important, to be honest.
Agreed, agreed. All right, final in this segment, final question. If your life were a book, what chapter are you on right now?
Woo-hoo! Well, if my life was a book, what chapter would I be on? I would probably say we midway through the book because I'm midway through some life here. So we ain't near the end yet, and we definitely not near the beginning no more. So we midway, and we're at the point where we're at a chapter where things are just changing and you don't even know what's coming next.
I like that. I like that. I agree. Like I said, we're not in the beginning of the book, but the book's just getting good at this point. So I
Mhm.
like that. Well, Shawniece, this has been phenomenal chatting with you. I want the friends of the Den at home to have an opportunity to follow you on social media and, more importantly, get their hands on your work. So you've earned it. The floor is yours. Please let the people know where they can find you, number one, on social media, and more importantly, where they can get your hands on your work.
So number one, you could find me on Facebook at Shawniece Hall, Hall. And if you type in my name as you see it on the screen, and this face will pop right up. On Instagram, I am Shawniece Writes. On TikTok, it's Nisi101. And I do a lot of my think pieces on TikTok. So if you like stuff like that, follow me on TikTok. When it comes to my own website, you can go to www.shawniecewrites.com. You can get your copy of Flames from there. I am also on Amazon as well with Flames, but the one thing I tell my customers, Amazon is not going to give you a signed copy, and I usually give my customers a little gift bag. Everybody gets something different. I'm always putting different stuff in there, and Amazon's not going to do that for you. So you could shop either or. It's always up to you, but I appreciate every purchase either way.
Absolutely. And I'm a big fan of direct to consumer. You know, get it any way you can, but if you could get it directly from the artist, I think always going to be the dopest way. Plus, you get an autograph when the book blows up and Michael B. Jordan is in the movie. You're going to have that value commodity. And, you know, just an investment tip, just an investment tip from Mars. But Shawniece, thank you again. This has been a phenomenal chat. I hope we can have you back on again. Any final words or any shout outs? Anybody you want to send some love out there to that supported you and help you with this journey? You have an opportunity to do so.
All right. Well, I'm gonna act like we at the award show. Friends and family, Hall family, my friends, I appreciate y'all. Y'all always show me so much support. I appreciate any person who's ever bought a book from me. I truly appreciate. Even if you share a post, I appreciate that. That's something. It's not always about money. Sometimes it's a simple share. I appreciate that. Look out, because this month, at the end of the month, I'm dropping my second book, Unbreakable Thoughts of a Stranger. And that will be out for you guys to read too. It's going to be something a little different than Flames, but you guys are definitely going to love it. And I cannot wait to come back on here again so we can discuss my second book.
Let's do it. It's done. It's done. And we always like to do something to support the artist. So for those who are watching on YouTube, because thank you everyone that's been listening audio. The goal is now we're building the YouTube up. We're already 12,000 strong on that. So thank you guys for helping us to build that up. First person in the comment that puts flame, that's the magic word, in the comment, I'm going to slide in your DMs, not like that in a creepy way, but I'm going to get you a copy of the book for yours to enjoy. So that's our way of giving back. So the first person in the comment that drops, put flame. If you're interested, we'll go ahead and get you a copy of the book. If you want us to gift it, tell us where you want us to send it to. We'll send it to whoever you want to. Somebody probably need it. We'll make sure we get it to them. But other than that, Shawniece, once again, thank you so much. I can't wait. I'm going to get back to the book and finish reading it because I want to know what the heck's going to happen with Miss Leah. And I'm on my pins and needles. I think that's what they say, pins and needles. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Listen, you're making me so happy right now. Because I love when I hear males talk about my book too. Nothing, but I love when a male picks up my book and they are talking about it. Because, you know, not all men read books, especially like my kind of book. So when I do hear guys pick it up and they're reading it and they're so into it, that genuinely excites me on the inside. So you excited me from the moment we got on here and you were saying what you were saying about the book.
That's all. I say God gave me 4 eyes for a reason, so I can read. So I love to read it. I can't wait to finish it. Guys, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Please do me a favor and follow. We'll make sure on the bottom we'll put all the social media links there so you can just click it and follow. Get yourself a copy of the book. And remember, first person that puts flame in the comments, you're going to get a copy of the book courtesy of the Den. Shawniece, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to check out the second book. And for those at home, we're going to end this episode like we end every single episode. It's all about peace, love, unity, and respect. We out. This piece.